Okay, so coming to presence through the body and coming to stillness where we find a healing presence. Through this poem this morning by Julia Fehrenbacher, The Cure for It All. Go gently today. Don't hurry or think about the next thing. Walk with the quiet trees. Can you believe how brave they are? How kind? Model your life after theirs. Blow kisses at yourself in the mirror. Especially when you think you've messed up. Forgive yourself for not meeting your unreasonable expectations. You are human, not God. Don't be so arrogant. Praise fresh air, clean water, good dogs. Spin something from joy. Open a window, even if it's cold outside. Sit. Close your eyes. Breathe. Allow the river of it all to pulse through your eyelashes, your fingertips, your bare toes. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe until you feel your bigness, until the sun rises in your veins. Breathe until you stop needing anything to be different. Breathe until you stop needing anything to be different. So let's see if we can just feel our toes, our fingertips, our eyelashes, and our breath this morning to just not need anything to be different. So coming, if you're not already there in your comfortable seat, let's start the class. Just kind of sense, feel, and notice just what's here this morning. Right? Take a moment to settle onto your mat. Feel the calf muscles, the shins, the arches of your feet, your toes, and the presence of your body in contact with the floor. Feeling your sit bones and the space of the pelvic floor. You come to this moment on your mat, just noticing what's here in body today. The space of the pelvic girdle, the pelvis, tension or ease, lightness or heaviness. Taking a breath, allowing your senses to settle in, noticing around your lower rib cage. And the space between your lower ribs and hip bones. Right into the backbone, into the back body and the vertebrae. And beginning with the sacrum and just beginning a slow walk, maybe ascending up your spine. Taking a breath or two to make your way up the back and Can you feel, can you sense, can you notice the qualities of the density of bone or the softness of tissue? And as you come up the back, rise into the shoulders, in the space of the shoulder joints, tension or ease, across the chest, around the heart. Take a breath or two. See how it feels to slow down a little bit this morning. Kind of taking a quick dive here. Just beginning to pull those energies closer to home, closer to this physical experience. Maybe notice your right arm from the shoulder to the elbow. And the elbow to the wrist. And taking a quiet breath, right, as we slow down to each breath. We're moving into that left shoulder. And to the left elbow. To the wrist. And a breath or two to come back to the heart. Remind yourself the presence of your heart is here. Take a hand over the heart if you like, or both hands, just feeling the heartbeat. There's actually, I learned recently in the heart that the heart, when it beats, it makes kind of a bit of a twist, kind of twists a bit as it beats from top to bottom, almost like a ringing out with each beat of the heart. There's a ringing out and then a filling. And each breath, each beat of the heart, a renewal. Maybe asking the heart for your intention today. What's going to bring you back here, back to this space? In that presence where you don't need to have anything different. And it just is the way it is. Maybe that one word rising from your heart might just be presence. What do you need today to hold the space, to explore body and mind with kindness and compassion, grace, acceptance, and love? And as you open, or let the hands drop and continue to just feel the spaciousness between the collarbones and the chin. And coming into the jaw, the mouth, the ears, the eyelashes, the eyebrows, the forehead. As you breathe in and breathe out, just beginning to acknowledge the presence of the you-ness that's here. It's the you that's here today, with all that it contains, all that she or he contains. And let the breath be just like a soothing balm. Just let it, just notice it, just, if you will, just the glide in through the nose and out through the nose. If things feel tight or tense, it's okay. There's nothing you need to change. And softening in the chest, the upper back, the neck, the jaw, as best you can as you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, a soft wave of breath. You might start to move with your hands just in a way that links with your breath. So we start to build that concentration on the in-breath, opening the fingers wide. And on the out-breath, closing the fingers towards the palm. Might take a little bit to really feel that subtlety of breathing when you first start. And that's okay, right? Maybe you're feeling your hands a little more, feeling your fingertips and the miracle of your hands just moving. You might begin to add a little more movement to that. And staying with the grace of your intention at all times today, just taking your arms up, take a nice stretch, reaching for the sun, breathing in. Bringing our hands back to the heart where it all begins, centered in your heart. And you could continue that flow, just taking the in breath, drawing that nice circle around you, reaching up. Exhaling, slowly guiding hands to heart. Noticing when you bring your hands together, you might notice your fingertips touch, the soft skin in your palm. Gentle pressure of the space of the palm and the fingers. Meeting the right side of your body with the left. I'm going to bring our hands, and we bring the hands right to the belly, just feeling the spaciousness between your lower ribs and your hip bones. We can do a gentle pulsing here, a diaphragmatic hugs. You can just do this very gently. If you have any aggravation in your digestion, you might do this very gently. Otherwise, we can kind of, build some heat here. So the in breath, there's a slight expansion, and then it's a exhale breath that hugs the muscles in around the lower ribs. Just pausing, and then brief inhalation, and then a hug around the lower ribs like this. So if you can continue, you can kind of see my hands moving, how this action is working to kind of really strengthen. It's the obliques that kind of hug around those lower side ribs and give us some warmth and tone right around here, the solar plexus. So let's try maybe 5 to 10 more of those diaphragmatic hugs. So it'll look like this. And then we'll pause, let the hands rest, breathe naturally, and just see how you feel. And start to take a little notice of the cervical spine with just some slow circles, the tip of the nose. Starting really small in a circle and gradually making it larger. I'm just very curious about each step of the way. So where in that circle is it smooth? Where does it get rough? Until you get to your largest circle. And coming back to center, pause. Name of the game is to pause, check in. What's left? What remains? And starting your circle in the other direction, reversing it, starting really small. Is there any stickiness or bumps in the road? As your circle gets larger, and even out from the ear to the edge of the shoulder. As we continue that circle around and start to feel the collarbones and the upper back, let's pause again. And maybe stretch those legs out to a wide V. You can stay on your blanket if you like. Maybe a little bend in the knees, flexing the feet back towards the shins. Maybe feel and wiggle your toes. Find the toe tips, fingertips and toe tips. Right, here you are. Give a nice big stretch and take up space. Right, feel all the space you take up this morning. Let the spine, the vertebrae kind of lift off of each other. Right, creating a nice long length. Let the arms float down. And just beginning to feel that rib cage, so you could begin those circles around. Right, finding mobility in the spine, circumduction. Just breathing in as you circle back. And breathing out as you circle forward. And if you'd like a little more in your shoulders, you can add the arms in, holding or bringing the fingers together. Reversing directions, exploring the other way. As you lengthen through your side ribs and into your armpit and come across the upper back, right? Just noticing the spaciousness between the ribs. Where is it? Where is it not? Let me take one more circle. Pausing as you come back to neutral. We pause between things and find presence. We process and we let things move through us. So just taking a moment. Let's bring our feet together. Baddha Konasana. And just take a moment with our hips, hip joints to bring the knees together, right? Inhale. And as you exhale, drop the knees out to the side. Just noticing the hip joints this morning. And sliding the legs out straight. You might keep a bit of a bent knee. Maybe you come flat on the floor for this one. Good for a little bit of rowing. So as we point and flex a little bit, kind of feel the ankle joints. Being curious as we draw the toe tips back towards the shins. Press the toe tips down. Notice the difference in the stretch. So you could play with that motion as we row, as we inhale and slide back. And exhale, reach the lower rib cage towards the thighs, lengthening the spine. Inhale to roll back. Exhale to reach and row. Good, making it a yawn today, if you will. You know, I think part of our poem was about recognizing good dogs. Or those good dogs, they just take a nice stretch. They look so peaceful in their stretch of their back and spine. It's very organic. This last one you get to, you might let this become a deeper stretch and hold the bottoms of your feet, right? Maybe even find the arches, right? Press your fingertips into your arches and just kind of feel there, like, where's the bottom of my feet? And I get into contact with that. And As you lift, lengthen the spine out. You might straighten the legs a little bit, right? Taking that stretch a little deeper, that forward bend. Dropping the chin towards the chest and taking 2 or 3 breaths here in our Paschimottanasana pose. And we'll walk those hands back up. Good, either on your blanket or not. You can come into wide legs again. We'll move into some rotation. So stretching the arms out to a T. Breathing and taking up space. Slow exhale, twisting to the left. You might lean forward and touch the toe or ankle if you will, or not. Breathing in, wide arms. Exhale to the other side. Okay, breathing in. And exhale, twist, a little squeeze into the waist, right? Good, exploring your range of motion. Where do you need your arms? Do you need to keep them in front of you? You could move into that Kapalbhati or diaphragmatic hugs with this, with the or keep it slow. And then we'll pause and rest for a moment. Just check in. How's the breath feeling now? Where do you feel the breath? You can bring a hand to the belly, to the chest. Can you feel it in the back body at all? Under the armpits? Start to move prana through our body. It's very subtle. Let's bring the legs in, coming onto hands and knees. As we come back into child's pose. Maybe rest your forehead down, resting the forearms on the mat, giving your shoulders, your neck some space. As you roll over the skin of the forehead, dropping the ear, the right ear towards the floor, then the left ear towards the floor. Can you feel the eyelashes move as the skin is gently pulled across the forehead? And as you spread your palms and feel all 10 fingertips, right? You can even kind of make it like a spider and pull yourself back up into table. And then bring the palms down. 10 fingertips press in. Rotate the inner elbows forward until you feel the the activation of the serratus, which is right under the armpit here. And we'll do a little mobility through the serratus. So these straight arm push-ups, we're just going to feel the rotator cuff strength. So keeping the arms straight, letting the chest kind of drop towards the floor. As you exhale, pushing the floor away, your shoulder blades slide apart and elbows are straight. And then inhale, chest drops. Little serratus push-ups. But we're feeling that whole rotator cuff. Like, where do you feel it? Where do you not? And continuing this last one, we're going to let straight arms push spine towards sky. So rounding into cat, fully down towards the tailbone, tuck. And then back up, ascending from tailbone to crown, breathing in, moving into cat-cow. So looking forward, breathing in. Exhaling down the spine, rounding, tipping the tailbone downwards. The in-breath from tailbone to crown. And the exhale back down. What moves you into presence with your intention? The grace that comes from being present with our heart. And how does that feel today? And let's pause and let's walk the hands forward, coming into a modified plank and just letting the pelvis dip forward. So a bit of an up dog here. And then rocking the hips back. So you can do what you can here, just being mindful that as we move through this rolling cobra, we're going to pull forward, hips move forward, and then drop, chest lift. Exhale, let the sit bones guide the pelvis back towards the heels. So starting to warm up the psoas, so the deep hip flexors. You might just, see what works for you, what your body can support here. Feeling steadiness and ease at the same time. As you pull the sit bones back, you might move as if you're squeezing the thighs towards each other. They're not getting there, but the action is adduction or thighs moving towards each other, right? And then pushing into the palms, feeling the upper body. And let's pause in that child's pose and rest. And let's come forward, coming all the way down onto the belly, prone here, coming into Makrasana, forehead to hands. So what parts can we bring more presence to this morning? And we might Shift our hips side to side, just feeling a shifting change between one hip bone and the other hip bone, pressing against the floor. Pausing in the center, right? Bending both knees, bring heels towards glutes, right? And in a gentle in-breath, extending. On the exhale breath, bringing heels towards glutes. And as you explore that, just noticing, does one travel faster than the other towards the glute? Sometimes we have one side that's tighter. Is one quadricep tighter than the other? This is good information here. And if you flex the heels, or flex the feet, or ankles, I guess, flex the ankles, and pause. With this next one, you can leave the legs where they're at. You might bring the arms back, reaching and lifting chest, shoulders, head, coming into this variation of Dhanurasana. Pause and hold. See how the back body feels. Little gentle holding of Uddiyana Bandha. So the belly's holding in slightly, supporting the back, right? And releasing when you're ready. Turning your head to one side, pause. Letting the breath fill the back body. What do you notice? I'm going to move into half frog. So we're going to bring the right forearm under the chest, the left foot in towards the glute. Reaching back, you can hold your pant leg, you can grab your ankle, or not grab at all, right? So if you can draw your foot in towards your glute for a deeper deeper quad stretch, right? Really extending that right leg out. Pressing top of this right foot onto the floor and taking a few breaths here. So you may or may not be holding the foot. That's okay, right? We're just gonna take a little pull of the forearm towards us, the right forearm towards the chest to lift and lengthen chest and spine. And pause, take a few breaths here. I'm going to try to keep both hip bones facing the floor and not rolling to one side or the other, or pulling the ankle to one side or the other. And let the exhale breath release, relax, stretch that leg out. Pause, take a breath. See if you are holding anywhere in your body. And we'll try the other side. Right leg comes in, left forearm in front of the chest, gently drawing the heart space forward. Good as you bind and hold. If you're binding on the side, notice if it's different. Do both hip bones stay in contact with the floor? Can the shoulders drop away from the ears? Can you breathe? Take another breath. Good. You can even press pubis towards floor. A lot of actions here internally happening. And releasing that bind if you had it, and dropping that foot to the floor. Pause, relax. Let it be. How can we come to presence without needing anything to change? We bring our hands back next to the chest. In the in-breath, a little mini cobra here. Pressing tops of the feet to the floor as you exhale, lowering forehead to floor. Let's do that a couple times. Just, let's feel the upper spine. Go back down to the mid-back core. Right, can you feel down to those lower ribs as you lift and then lower? So these deep spinal muscles. Maybe one more. Just breathing in. Lowering on your exhale. Pressing firmly into palms, elbows draw into your sides, and lifting up to table. And pause. And as you walk your hands back, just under the shoulders, we'll take the in-breath to look forward, and exhale back to child's pose. Let's move in and out. So this opposing stretch for our back bend. So as we breathe in, we'll move forward, table. And exhale back, dropping the elbows, sit bones towards heels. You guide the sit bones at an equal rate here. Do they move together? You take a couple more of those movements. You might add a hum, right? Just on your exhale. And pause and rest. How did the hum change it for you? Did it make it different? Then we might come into our down dog, either on the floor or hands on the chair or wall, if that feels more accessible to you. So you come into down dog, stretching sit bones nice and high. And the palms, the fingers spread wide. Let's find all 10 fingertips, palm pressing into the earth. The center of the palm is slightly lifted. Good, and finding the ankles, the toes. You might pedal the heels a few times. Finding the tarsals, the metatarsals, the phalanges. And the length of our feet. And then walking forward and together. Let's come all the way up. And coming into mountain pose, nice and tall. Let's do a little check-in with where you're at today. As you lift and lengthen to your highest height, through the spine, through the back, press down into your roots. Right, little circle the wrists. Where else do you need to feel into right now? Like what feels left out? I notice my fingers, my wrists were a little feeling like they needed some activity, right? So just kind of roll things right now. Roll through your body. Just what feels like left out. Maybe it's a shoulder. Needs a gentle attention. Maybe it's a hip. Right, as we circle in our joints, we create mobility. More mobility, just finding, even taking the pelvis or stepping wider and circling the pelvis if that feels right. What feels left out? I'm kind of feeling it in my upper back, still needing a little bit of motion, mobility, feeling into that space. Good. Maybe take it lower into the lower planes towards your feet and let the head dangle. That could be an action there. And we're going to come all the way back up, feeling into whatever spaces feel like they might not have been active yet this morning. Coming back to your heart's intention. Good, as we hold a stance a little wider than mountain maybe. I'm going to take a bit of a stretch for our sides, holding our elbows, bringing the arms overhead, far as is comfortable for you, right? Just begin to be like this watery sound, like just tipping to one side. We're going to travel in that direction, just going as low as you feel comfortable, maybe towards your feet, circling up the other side. So bringing the right ribs up first, leading in a circle. Exhaling as you fold forward. And if holding the elbows doesn't work for you, maybe you're just letting the arms hang or stretching them out straight. Like what works today. I'm kind of noticing the little bony protrusions of my elbows at the moment, so maybe give them some love and try the other direction. The in-breath guides you up, and the exhale breath guides you down. Good. Let's pause and float the arms down. And just feel whatever's alive for you, sensation, breath, heart, mind. As we step a little bit wider and turn the toes to the right, just coming into a nice stable warrior two, looking out over your right hand. Feeling the arches of your feet lift as your feet give a little hug to the floor, the earth. You feel that sense of connection rise through your calves, your inner thighs, pelvic floor, and up through the back body as that deep diaphragmatic breathing holds center for you. And you include all the way up into the space of the mouth, and even pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Stopping the body. We come to presence. Letting the arms float down and shifting to the other side. 5 to 10 breaths in warrior two. It's not all we're doing here though, right? There's much happening from the inside out. We gather all 10 toes into a toe hug on the floor that begins traveling upwards through the body. Traveling upwards into the space of the diaphragm that brings life throughout. And still holding here, building that strength to stay. And when you're ready, let's step in and come all the way down onto the floor. Coming into supine Baddha Konasana, so reclined bound angle, and come onto the back. The knees fall out to the side. Bring the arms to the sides and pause. Might bring the knees back up and shift the hips to the right, taking spinal twist over to the left. And moving the feet back, shifting hips left, dropping knees right. Remember that intention, what your heart is calling for, and listening. And bringing legs back to center. And coming into a supported bridge. We can bring our block right under the pelvis. Raising the hips above the heart. And optional reach of the legs upwards. Maybe we come into candlestick. And whenever you're ready, moving into Shavasana. Full relaxation. How does that look for you? Is it on your back? Is it on your stomach? Lying on your side? Where you can completely just relax and let go. Just being here. As you move into Shavasana, let your limbs be held by the earth. We'll read our poem again for us today. Go gently today. Don't hurry or think about the next thing. Walk with the quiet trees. Can you believe how brave they are? How kind? Model your life after theirs. Blow kisses at yourself in the mirror, especially when you think you've messed up. Forgive yourself for not meeting all your unreasonable expectations. You are human, not God. Don't be so arrogant. Praise fresh air, clean water, good dogs. Spin something from joy. Open a window, even if it's cold outside. Sit. Close your eyes. Breathe. Allow the river of it all to pulse through eyelashes, fingertips, bare toes. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe until you feel your bigness, until the sun rises in your veins. Breathe until until you stop needing anything to be different. Breathe until you stop needing anything to be different. So rest well, my friend.